All right, welcome in everybody to Thursday's edition of Daily Bread, coming at you live right at 3:20 on the East Coast for all your Thursday night betting needs in the NBA, college hoops, and Thursday night football between the Panthers and the Falcons, and maybe we'll slide into play on Tulsa versus Memphis as well for all you college football junkies out there. But that's today's episode of Daily Bread, powered by the Wise Guys Diamond Club. Be sure to be tapping into their DMs for the weekend, week, or month package before it is too late. We appreciate everyone who's tapped in on Twitter. Hit the link up in the title to be featured in today's episode on YouTube. But Sosa, how are you feeling today?
Feeling pretty good, man. Interesting night in the NBA last night. Very interesting. Just an interesting evening in the association.
What makes you say interesting?
The Cavs losing the way they did. A couple other things that stuck out. Let me get my notes up. The Magic obviously handling business at home. We obviously were talking about it being a very weird spot, right?
Yeah.
What else? The Jazz continuing to win. The Hawks did us no favors last night. Probably should have faded them with Trey coming back after missing, some time. But the Nets handled business. It was a weird night. The Timberwolves got beat at the crib.
Not surprising.
And the thing is, the game really wasn't close at all at any point. The Grizzlies ended up going to overtime with the Spurs. I don't know if you saw the Bucks Thunder game, but the Thunder, man, you talk about a hose job. They called a crazy foul on Lou Dort after Shai Gilly hit like a step back, a step back three. I think it might have been a long two to put him up, but man, he's the goods, bro. His numbers are insane. I still don't think he's a cornerstone player for any franchise. I really don't give a fuck what anyone says. But it is what it is with that one.
Pacers came through for us last night.
Yes, sir. Tyrese Halliburton as well. End up with that double-double. Obviously, like I said, the biggest surprise was the Kings handling business so well against the Cavs. They played a good game, really kind of led throughout the entire thing. It really wasn't one of those like nail biters at the end. They pretty much handled business from start to finish. I think the King. I spoke on the Kings at the beginning of the year. I think that they're going to compete a lot. They have a lot of talent on that team. Slightly underrated. They went and got a couple of guys that know how to play winning basketball in the offseason. And it looks like De'Aaron Fox is developing into a legit, lead candidate, a lead player.
To be traded off the Kings.
Yeah, also shout out to Portland. Continue to win. Dame Lillard played last night, hit 6 threes, looked really good. I can't say anything bad. It looks like they've made really, really good decisions. Jeremy Grant is finally being asked to be like a third option, fourth option, and he's thriving in that role. I mean, that's what got him paid when he was in Detroit, right? That's really the truth. That's what got him paid, was him being a fourth option in Denver and finally, getting some playing time, and then now he's pretty much assumed that third option role, fourth out, whatever number you want to put past second, because we know the two guys who are the go-to guys, the backcourt in Portland. Anthony Simons has pretty much become CJ McCollum 2.0. Let's be honest, it's the exact same shit. It's another guard that can get his own shot, can shoot threes, maybe. Maybe not as creative off the drive as CJ. A little more explosive, but still yielding relative results. So
the biggest thing I saw from last night is, man, it is a bad time to be Kenny Payne because cupboards were. I don't want to say bare because they weren't that terrible at Louisville, but it wasn't like he was set up for success. And Bellarmine was the hungriest team possibly out there, who wasn't allowed in the tourney last year after winning their conference. You get that big spot game one. It was just a recipe for success for Louisville last night. I think chill out. essentially to their fans. Just take a chill pill.
First year last year, obviously on the big stage, like you said, they won the conference. They didn't, the rules are the rules.
Never great losing to a Harry Potter sounding school on opening night.
I was very shocked. That was bad start for Kenny. He'll bounce back though. He's a very good basketball coach, very good recruiter as well.
I don't know. His guards aren't too solid though. That's his biggest issue is they can maybe compete on the inside, but any decent guard, they might get torn up in the ACC this year. So keep that in the back of your mind.
It's going to take some time. Especially with the way the portal's designed, I think he's going to be able to get a lot of guys to come through the portal and really rock with them. I also think NIL, they're one of those schools that have unlimited funds. Anything at the end of the day, if all else fails, they can just call Papa John and, they can get whatever they want. So at the end of the day, I do believe that Kenny will get it together. Rough start. Bellarmine, like you said, big time upstart. Everybody's very, very, they're very, very insistent on telling people that it's their first year. It was their first year last year, but they had guys that had played in the system and for the program for quite some time there. You know what I mean? So they did have a level of cohesion entering a new conference when no one had ever seen them. So it's going to be interesting to see if they continue that level of play, right? Because they were dominant on one level. That's why they're playing where they are now. Or does the playing field in the conference kind of even out to another extent now, right? That's going to be interesting. Great way to start the season, though, beating Louisville. Absolutely can't go wrong.
Still can't qualify for the tournament, though.
It is what it is, man.
You're wait 5 years.
I think that's absolutely idiotic.
Yeah, Mary Mack finally gets over the hump after this season, I believe, because I think they fell into the same boat 2 years ago. But that's enough about the past. Like we said, we got a loaded episode for you. 4 segments. We'll get through them pretty quick because 4 different sports, not a lot of games. But let's start it off in the association.
Hey, man, first and foremost, we got the Sixers playing in Atlanta tonight. We are
going to get run off the court?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't expect that to be the case at all. I'm targeting one player and one player only for the Philadelphia 76ers. You're welcome to ride with me. If you're scared, go to church. It is also Thursday night. There's a lot of Bible studies going on. I'm on Tobias Harris over 15.5 tonight. I'm rocking with them completely. I'm rocking with him completely. I think that's a good matchup for him based on, Maxey and Embiid being back. Obviously, Embiid missed a couple games due to the flu. Looks like he got his legs on there. Maybe put up 29 the other night. First game back. He was absolutely dominant. I think he might have had more than that. He had 20. I think he might have had that through 3 quarters. But yeah, again, got basically absolutely just ran through DeAndre Ayton the other night. And we won't win the game by double digits. He ended up with 33. He had 29 through 3. Sorry. But yeah, I expect the same. They don't have any bigs to really guard Embiid. I think also Tobias Harris, he has a history of playing relatively well against the Atlanta Hawks. Played well against them in the playoffs. We all know the only guy that didn't, and why he's the reason why we really lost the series the one time we played them in the playoffs and lost on Father's Day a couple of years ago. So that's my first play as far as props. I love Tobias Harris tonight.
Too scared to play him on the money line, it seems.
I am. Hey man, it's no James Harden. Although I think we'll be just fine. But again, no, I'm not committing to that on the show. No, sir. My second play is in the Portland Trailblazers game against the Pelicans.
Back to back, both of them on back to backs.
I'm on CJ over 20.5. Has shot the ball absolutely horribly last night. Couldn't throw a rock into the ocean. Looked absolutely terrible. Former team in his arena where he plays his home games.
Drinking a smoothie.
CJ McCollum over 20.5 tonight.
All right, I can dig that angle there. You got a nice little revenge spot there. Both teams coming off a back-to-back, so the Sixers have the advantage in the first game since they're not on one, if that means anything to you.
Yes, sir. Again, it's revenge, bounce back. He played terrible. I mean, he was awful the last time we saw him take a break. He was absolutely horrendous. Over 20.5. CJ McCollum minus 104. And the only other play that I was looking at was Bam Adebayo to get a double-double. Playing against Charlotte. Charlotte has a thin front line. They're really not physical. Bigs thrive against them, no matter who it really is. I love Adebayo's matchup against all of the Charlotte bigs. Give me Bam Adebayo to record a double-double at minus 106. Those are my 3 NBA plays, all that I really like. Sides and totals, not so much on a short slate. Can really pick your spots on a bigger slate. Last night, obviously, Atlanta decided to completely forget how to play basketball in the second half. Game's to game.
Yes, sir. All right. Appreciate everyone tapping in, especially everyone on Twitter as well. Click the link up in the title if you want to get to the YouTube page. Like, follow, retweet, sub, and everyone who shares. We like it even more. Since there's just one college football game worth talking about tonight, and maybe, so we might say the word parlay here, because laying 6.5 or 7 with Memphis is kind of rough. Even though Tulsa is just straight up ass right now. They've completely quit on their season. No bowl hopes here. And that's what you got with the Tigers here. They have to win this game. They got to give me the next one to get them to the easy 6 wins to get them bowl eligible. So you'll be able to see real early what the fight is. That's where I don't know if I want to lay the 6.5 or the 7, but the money line's like sitting at a close 250, 260 range. So I would say confidently you can use it as any anchor for anyone out there in the show. I do not like saying that word parlay, but I like it.
Bruh.
What?
Jason Verrett tore his Achilles tendon. Like the dude was just coming off an ACL and just got activated to 3 days ago.
Yep.
Oh man, that's some of that dude's made. That's one of the saddest stories, bro. Super talented, just could not stay healthy. My goodness. Oh well, sorry about that. I just got the update from Schefter, so it's not.
Yep.
Good.
So that's where if you find something as that, you can use that as the anchor. Maybe I'll look for something live. I just don't want to lay 7, even though it's the lean of the show. So you always know how that goes.
Notre Dame. Somebody said something about Notre Dame and
that's
Navy.
college hoops. We haven't gotten there yet. I was just going to college football quick, just because quick in and out there. We got a lot of us 50 plus tapped in. Let's just go right to Thursday night football, Sosa. Give them what they want. That's what they came here for, right?
Jesus Christ. I like Kyle Pitts to have a decent game there.
Yeah.
It's again, man. This Atlanta team will run the ball 100 times if they could. I think that's kind of what happens when you have an offensive lineman as your head coach. It makes sense now to me. Kyle Pitts, 35.5. I kind of like it. I mean, tight ends have performed really well against this Carolina defense.
But they don't use them as a tight end.
I could see this, everyone expecting this to be, I guess, a super low-scoring game. Last time they played in the Dome or in the Maybach, they scored a shit ton of points. So, for me, a couple guys that can score a touchdown, sprinkle, Cordero Patterson, he's at minus 105.
I hate everyone saying his name because I need him to show up for different purposes tonight.
Maybe
I don't like the mush on him.
Right. Maybe Foreman, but then Chuba Hubbard's back. So, this game should be ugly. Watch basketball.
Damn, you can't even hype it up. It's for first place, man, or to hold on to first place. Like, you can't give me anything. Mariota's not looking good enough for you to have a little bit of faith?
No, these teams fucking stink. And I still don't know how Atlanta keeps winning. I do. Like I said, I give Arthur Smith this praise and all that, but this is I don't know. Atlanta will probably win, if that's saying much. The game's played outdoors. Everything changes when Mariota plays on outside. So who knows?
Man, not even trying to lay points, not even trying to take the total.
And it's raining. I'm good. No, 100% passing.
So you're going to the Bible study tonight, is all we heard. Chuck said it earlier, but
hey man, sometimes it's better to it's important to get right with God. Sometimes you gotta do that.
all right, college hoops time. You got anything on this shitty slate once again that we're just drudging our way through? No place the past 2 days after a 2-1 Monday, losing on a hook by one play. Some of you got a push on that, but
Yeah.
you like what minus 22 do you like, or what team total over 75.5? And you're gonna stack it with the first half team total as well, since they're playing IUPUI or whatever.
I want to believe in Rutgers.
Sacred Heart did just play Hartford, who did just fire their coach the prior game. You're going into the rack, fuck Jersey Mike's Arena, or whatever they call it.
Yeah, 21 and a half against Sacred Heart. I may have to lay the 21. I think they beat them by 50. But that, yeah.
Yeah, right when you go down the slate, it's not it's a lot of beautiful games. One of them was shouted out on Twitter was Towson versus UMass, because you got Frank Martin back there at UMass, probably the best game out there on the board. Now there's a better one I'll get to in a second. UMass is now laying 3.5. It kind of opened closer to a 1.5, which is strange because the public last year was all over Towson. They ended up coming up short in their conference tournament, so they couldn't see them. Going to stay away from this one here, but that's just kind of your strange line of the day. Probably the best game of the day, but maybe it gets impacted by travel because Vermont was just on the East Coast. Now they're flying all the way out to play St. Mary's tonight to the West Coast. You got a 7.5 point spread there, a total sitting at 130.5. That's going to be some beautiful basketball, just like that Thursday night football if you're staying up at 10 p.m. there. That's what I'm saying. When I have to hype up those two games, you're muted as the two games of the day out there on the board. That's how you know there's still some slim pickings, my man.
I want no parts of this college basketball slate. Like you said, the games are shitty. You're not really getting a lot of probable competition. You know what I mean? And I think that's really kind of part of the thing for me. It's I don't know what to expect from some of these teams. And the thing is also is like betting on the first game of the year for some of these teams, because it's going to be a complete 50-50. Half of the really good teams just come out and beat the shit out of one of them. And then you're going to get the other half where they struggled through 30 minutes and then go on a run at the end. And it's like, are they going to win by 22 or are they going to just fall at 18? So,
well, I still got the plays though for today. So after hyping up that Vermont St. Mary's game, the travel, how gross, slow pace it's going to be, I think 130.5 is too low, and I'm going to play the over, and I'm going to hate my life when this game ends 68-61 later tonight and we miss it by 1 point. Because this is going to be a slow-paced game, but both of these offenses both rank within the top 50 so far this season. Both of these teams are top 75, so this is one of your game where you have actual comparable skill and talent. You just got Vermont traveling across to the West Coast. If I got Vermont at double digits, I'd like it a lot more. I think the 8.5 is a spot-on number for this game here, but it's on 10 p.m. It's on a terrible channel, so good luck trying to find that one. But that is one of the plays of the day. We're going to stay away from Santa Clara, even though they made us sweat and cash us out pretty nice last time. Eastern Kentucky versus Western Kentucky opened at 149.5 and been steamed all the way up to 159.5. Game last year, we bet it. We pushed. It ended 85-80, if you remember that last season. I think Eastern Kentucky's back at home this year. If you haven't watched them play a game so far, if you remember the Rockets from a few seasons ago where they only shot threes, like times at
all offense, and they just ran to shoot threes. Yep.
So if you want to be subjecting yourself to that, to a directional Kentucky rivalry matchup, that's another solid game on the board. You got the Hilltoppers laying 7.5. That would have to be the side I would rock there, but Eastern Kentucky, I think they're going to get put out tonight.
That's fair.
You got Trace Jackson Davis missing for Indiana. We'll see how long he's going to be out, but he's got that thumb injury. Will it come into effect against Bethune-Cookman tonight? That's what I'm saying, man.
How much
That's
are
where
they
we're at with the game.
getting paid to play Indiana?
Shout out to our boy Steven Carlson. I know he's on Nichols plus 16 against Wyoming tonight just to fade Wyoming.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
what
looking at the USC line. I'm like, I'll probably end up betting that late night.
Last play of the day. We're going to take our Dons over team total over 80.5 minus 115. They put up 100 plus their last game. This is what they do every single season. They get the offense rolling against their cakewalk teams. They're playing Cal Poly. So you can lay it with the Dons as well. It opened at 13.5, now sitting at 16. Don't like it as much. We'll take the team total over 80. Shout out to JMU. Put up 120 both of their games so far this season. Just no respect. Shout out to the Dons, West Coast version. They'll do it as well.
University of San Francisco, correct?
Yep. That's how you know. You've got to be with us for last season. You call them the Dons here. 2 plays for you there.
Yes, sir. But yeah, I've got nothing else.
Hockey? No hockey play?
Nah, no.
Come on. I know you got one on the board today.
You need one for hockey?
No, we don't.
I got one.
You're going to say the Flyers.
They don't play tonight.
Yeah, they do. They play the Blue Jackets.
It's not on my board. Oh, Flyers money line minus 110. I love it. Let's go.
I think the streak ends for the Devils tonight, and the Sens get a dub. That's just because Claude Drew's on the team. Like, retweet, follow, sub. We're out until